Live at CCSA, it's the 2022 Science, Technology, and Society Debate with your Master of Ceremony, Ms. Shira Grace Argalion.
Ladies and gentlemen, teachers and students, good day. I am Shira Grace Argalion, your Master of Ceremony in this momentous event. Welcome to the STS 2022 debate featuring the second year students of the PMGO2 class of Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia. At this juncture, I request everyone to please stand to acknowledge the presence of our Almighty Father, to be led by Mr. Brian Kalimpas.
Let us bow down our head and feel the presence of God. Dear God, we thank you for allowing us to gather here before you in this session, not as enemies but as friends. May you grant each and every debaters an understanding mind that this activity is among friends. May it foster love and camaraderie amongst all present here today. May your loving heart fill each of us so that we could realize that it is not the winning that truly counts, but the honest and noble way we get there. May you bless the program director, judges, evaluators, debater of each team, members, and our teacher, Professor Lagrada, to their cooperation and unity in making the momentous occasion a remarkable experience of your love and generosity. Bless the whole class that they may be humble in their victory and realize that they would not have succeeded without you. All this we ask in your mighty name, Jesus. Amen.
Let's not prolong the agony of waiting. Now, to formally welcome us in this event, help me welcome Mr. Romel Henelazo for the introduction, to be followed by Mr. Rogie Basilat for the welcoming speech.
Gene therapy is an emerging technology characterized by uncertainty in scientific knowledge with regard to benefits and risks. The development of a routinely used gene therapy to successfully fight against severe disease, such as cancer, which takes longer than it had been expected during the first period of gene enthusiasm and might. In fact, turned out to have been wishful thinking. Our speakers will be making their case shortly to you, and they represent a spectrum of opinions about bioethical issues on gene therapy. Facts and figures have to be explained, taking in account experts and laypersons' perspective, thinking, and concepts. The research on risk communication and risk perception gives important insight what should be considered while constructing risk-related information. So, without further ado, I will now give the floor to our welcoming speakers for today's event. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, especially to you, Ma'am Leo de Vida Lagrada, our professor. It is a privilege for me to be part of this occasion. I'd like to extend my warm welcome to everyone attending our fourth debate, which is being hosted in Christian colleges in Southeast Asia. But before we get started, let me share a quotation by Robert J. Brathy. Healthy debate happens when individual accepts that they have differences of opinion, not facts. Robert wants us to understand that in a dispute, there are simply differences of opinion about the issue, not the facts, because in every subject provides facts that define what you believed in. So without further ado, we will go witness the debate between the two teams. One agrees and the other disagrees on the topic bioethical issues on gene therapy.
Thank you, gentlemen, for that heartwarming welcome message. And at this point, let us hear Ms. Desirel Alagon for the presentation of structured layout plan.
Our Our structured layout plan was made of dazzling red that symbolizes of burning and passion, so we choose this kind of motif where it was a combination of red for power and energy that motivates us to take action, and brown for stability and reliability. Gold is very visible in our structured layout plan for it represents accomplishments, even with the oozing confidence of each speakers that being partnered with their passion to win the debate. This design encourages speakers to remain calm and possess a strong energy to defend their firm. Moreover, this picture on my left with one podium will be utilized by the non-debaters who will do their part to the event. And on my right, with two podiums that will be utilized by the debaters. Each design was labeled with the names of speakers to avoid confusions, and we can see it in front the title of today's event together with the school section and logo. And that's all, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
And for us to be familiar with the rules and styles of the debate, let me call on the presence of Ms. May Gonzalez to lay down the mechanics.
The mechanics of the debate. The debate involves two groups, one supporting a resolution or affirmative team, one opposing the resolution or opposing team. The affirmative team and the opposing team consists of one opening speaker, 5 constructive speaker, 5 rebuttal speaker, and 1 concluding speaker. The resolution of this debate is entitled Bioethical Issues on the Gene Therapy. The affirmative team will present their opening speech, followed by the opposing speech of the opposing team. Each team has 5 constructive speeches and 5 rebuttal speeches. The affirmative team will give their first constructive speech to be rebutted by the opposition, followed by the first constructive speech of the opposition to be rebutted by the affirmative team. The sequence just goes on until the last constructive speech of the opposing team and the last rebuttal speech of the affirmative team. It will end with a concluding speech of the affirmative team and opposing team. Speakers should speak slowly and clearly. The judges and members of the audience should be taking notes as the debate proceeds. Time limit will be imposed to the debate speakers. There will be a timekeeper for each team, and countdown will begin as the speaker starts to speak. Opening, rebuttal, and concluding speakers will be given a maximum of 2 minutes, and the rest of the speakers will also be given a maximum of 2 minutes. The general rules of this debate are: first, observe time limit. Each speaker has a maximum time of 2 minutes. The timekeeper will check the time carefully. Second, the order of speakers must not be changed. Third, interrupting a speaker is forbidden. Fourth, the audience must not participate in the debate. Fifth, avoid discrimination. Sixth, no use of derogatory words. Seventh, stick on the topic.
At this point, we will know the Board of Judges in this event. Help me welcome Mr. Emron Justin Fernandez for the presentation of the judges.
Good day, everyone. Let me introduce to you our Board of Judges. Our first judge, a 20-year-old lady who studied at Cabantian National High School with a strand of General Academic Strand, graduated as with honors, and currently a second-year student of Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Social Studies, Ms. Carnita L. Dajore. Our second judge, a 20-year-old lady who studied at Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School with a strand of General Academic Strand, graduated as with honors, and currently a second-year student of Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics, Ms. Angela C. Navarro. Our third judge, a 20-year-old lady who studied at Tagakpan National High School with a strand of General Academic Strand, graduated as with honors, and currently a second-year student of Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Social Studies, Ms. Rian Umboy. Our fourth judge, a 21-year-old lady who studied at Don Enrique Bustamante National High School with a strand of General Academic strand, graduated as with honors, and currently a second-year student of Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino, Miss Mylene L. Pabulaya. Our fifth judge, a 21-year-old lady who studied at Philippine Academy of Sakya Davao Incorporated with a strand of Humanities and Social Studies, graduated as with high honors, and currently a second-year student of Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino, Miss Basita D. Palmahil. Our sixth judge, a 20-year-old gentleman who studied at Philippine Academy of Sakya Davao Incorporated with a strand of Humanities and Social Studies strand, graduated as with honors, and currently a second-year student of Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Social Studies, Mr. Felix Pantoja. For the last and most important judge, she graduated with a degree in Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering from the University of Mindanao. She was a former teacher of Davao Chunghwa High School and a former Assistant Dean of College at Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia, and currently a full-time professor at Christian Colleges of Southeast Asia, no other than Mrs. Leo Vida Lagrada.
There you have it, our excellent and brilliant Board of Judges. And of course, we also love to know our great speakers for this debate and their resolutions. To do the honor, let me call on Ms. Nelsie Tubigon for the presentation of the final resolutions and constructive speakers of supporting, and Ms. June Donaire for the opposing team.
Hey everyone, here's the presentation of resolution of supporting team together with constructive names of speaker. First, constructive speaker supporting team, resolution number 1, the use of gene therapy while respecting human rights by Zuzain Buntag. Second, constructive speaker supporting teams, resolution number 2, bioethical and legal issues of gene therapy by Layasan Shikaina. Third, constructive speaker supporting team, resolution number 3, gene therapy is bioethical by Cortez Kimmelboy. And the fourth, constructive speaker supporting team, resolution number 4, the advantages of biotech and gene therapy by Tamayo Ezekiel. And the fifth, constructive speaker supporting team, resolution number 5, gene therapy, the promise by Ken Abing.
Good day everyone! Today I will present to you the final resolution of the opposing team with constructive names of speakers. First constructive speaker, resolution number 1, bioethical and gene therapy, death is possible and it leads to countless disease by Castillo Michael. Second constructive speaker, resolution number 2, speech debate on bioethical issues on gene therapy by Banugan Rosel. Third constructive speaker, resolution number 3, bioethical disadvantage of gene therapy by Aginid Gemma. Fourth constructive speaker, resolution number 4, gene therapy, a dangerous medication by Laturgu Angel. Fifth constructive speaker of the opposing team, resolution number 5, gene therapy, potential risk. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you to our lovely ladies. Now, let's proceed to the presentation of the overview of arguments. Let me call on the presence of Ms. Luceras for the supporting team and Ms. Batyan Sila for the opposing team.
Good day everyone, I am Jessay Luceras and I'm going to give the overview argument of the supporting team. We are born with a set of chromosomes that contain the gene codes for our overall being, including personality, appearance, and long-term health. However, if this gene mutates or has defects in its own DNA structure, it may cause complications that have a significant impact on our entire health and well-being. So gene therapy is a novel method of cell rebuilding and revitalizations that has recently been introduced to us. So through gene therapy, we would be able to understand and eradicate the circular issues present within us. Gene therapy is a technique for altering a person's genes in order to treat or cure diseases. Gene therapy works by replacing a disease-causing gene with a healthy copy of the gene in order to activate a disease-causing gene that isn't working properly. So the supporting team believes that gene therapy is the innovation of tomorrow. The advantages of gene therapy are obvious. It has the potential to stop hereditary diseases from starting and alleviate suffering for the future generation. Gene therapy is also effective treatment for disorders that are not widely known. We all contain a faulty gene and may be unaware of it. Because gene therapy can manage or eliminate a hereditary disease, it is a medication for the future. Assisting future generation is becoming healthy and immune to cell problems and gene confusion.
Gene therapy is a treatment, prevention, or cure for a disease or medical issue that uses genes. Gene therapy often works by replacing a damaged or missing gene in a patient's cells with a healthy form of that gene or by adding new copies of a broken gene. Gene therapy has been used to treat both inherited genetic diseases and acquired conditions. Gene therapy has some potential risk. A gene can be easily inserted into your cells. Rather, it usually has to be delivered using a carrier called a vector. Gene therapy has bioethical difficulties and disadvantages in all parts of life. Researchers believe in an innovation to treat diseases, however, it is a risky technique or try to cure diseases for us because the given gene into our body cells may have side effects or incompatibility with those altered genes, worsening or causing new diseases. Gene therapy is not safe. The process of developing gene therapy is long and highly monitored, from initial creation of the treatment to the research studies that test it. Teams of researchers assess whether the gene therapy is safe and effective. As with any medication, toxicity and side effects can still occur. The use of gene therapy is relatively new, so there may be unpredictable risks and we don't know how long it takes to see side effects. Delayed side effects could occur, which requires people into clinical trials to be monitored for a long time.
Thank you, ladies. And now, without further ado, let's proceed to the most awaited part of this event. I will now give the floor to our timekeepers, Mr. Lucas for the supporting team and Mr. Diore for the opposing team.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Nicarita Altadiore, your timekeeper for the supporting team.
I am January Amel Lucas, your timekeeper for the opposing team. Speaker for the supporting and opposing team will be given 2 minutes to deliver their speech. Your time starts now.
So good day everyone. So genome editing technology have led to fundamental changes in genetic science. Among them, technology particularly stand out due to its advantages such as easy handling, high accuracy, and low cost. It has made a quick introduction in field related to humans, animals, and environment, while raising difficult question applications, concerns, and bioethical issues. Currently, research on gene therapy treatment has focused on targeting body, somatic cells, such as bone marrow or blood cell. This type of genetic alteration cannot be passed to a person or children. Gene therapy could be targeted to egg and sperm cells, germ cells, however, which would allow the genetic changes to be passed to future generations. This approach is known as germline gene therapy. So that's all. Thank you.
Experts have developed gene therapy as a result of considerable research to improve human living conditions. However, since its creation, there has been a rising worry over whether it is truly bioethical and beneficial to humans. Jose Ignacio da Cruz Freire et al., international experts, launched a brief critical review which is an excellent example why gene therapy seems to be not excellent. One of the review's most compelling arguments demonstrated that gene therapy is still in its early stages. Experiments are run through by targeting the bodily cells like bone marrow and blood cells as the focus. It might also be directed to egg cells and sperm cells, a root of another concern as these methods may result to alterations to the cells, developments, and some concerns that are not yet known. Another concern is the procedure of the gene therapy. Unwanted immune system reactions is the part of the process. Deaths have also been recorded as a result of trials and tests for gene therapy. ASH US publications reported 4 young boys under the age of 5 have died in a Astellas clinical trial in the summer of 2020. To further explain our points, the opposing team is fully equipped and strongly disagrees that gene therapy is bioethical. Thank you, I'm Kenneth Monton, and good day.
First constructive speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
Humanity is defined by its diversity. Every person's DNA is unique to them alone. Humans have unique collection of characteristics and interfering with the natural process may result in a new set of issues. Even though gene therapies have numerous flaws, the promise of curing a wide range of disease sounds quite appealing. The development of therapeutic and medical advance had allowed humanity to live longer and be healthier. Treatments have been developed in the medical field that was unimaginable just a century ago, as these levels of progress has the potential to affect the rights and morals of many people. Ethical problems have arisen. A happy medium must be discovered to avoid this slippery slope, where society reaches a point of no return. To avoid a disaster, it must be clear that no meddling with embryonic development take place, because it is a moral imperative to recognize that the embryo will be one day be fully conscious individual capable of making its own decision with gene therapy. This goal must be defined and treatment must be made available to autonomous individuals who provided their full permission. These fields show a high level of promise for reducing disease spread and in the future may provide remedies to several chronic disorders. It's also safe to expect that as this business develops, we'll be able to treat infectious and efficiently heal those who have contracted a bacterial or viral illness that would otherwise kill them. The reality is that society has a moral commitment to maintaining scientific research to reduce disease-related misery and agony. However, society also owes it to people in need to defend their rights, particularly those who are unable to make medical decisions for themselves. Gene therapy has the potential to heal a variety of ailments when used properly.
First rebuttal speaker from the opposing team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
I firmly disagree that gene therapy is free of bioethical concern. Gene therapy is a sort of medical treatment that allows us to edit our DNA, and that is according to the American Society of Human Genomics 2019. It's an intriguing yet difficult therapy approach that has the potential to transform the lives of those suffering from rare genetic diseases, cancer, and other illnesses. For those with serious condition, gene therapy is an option rather than a solution. These are the patients who are unable to make their own decisions because they have cancer or another sickness that can lead to death. So, Ms. Buntag, how can you claim that gene therapy is respecting human rights if the patient is unconscious and not in its normal state? You also stated that gene therapy has the potential to heal a variety of ailments when used properly. While this is true, but what about the side effects? Larissa Hirsch 2020 said that gene therapy is promising, but it is currently only used to treat a few diseases for which no other treatments are available. Many types of gene therapy are still being researched to determine their safety and ability to treat or prevent diseases. Gis Jossinger, who suffered from a rare liver disorder, took part in a gene therapy trial in 1999. He died of complications from an inflammatory response shortly after receiving a dose of an experimental adenovirus vector, and his death must be a wake-up call to all of us. Let us pause for a moment before making a decision. It is better to choose the best solution than to risk your life for an alternative option.
First constructive speaker of the opposing team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
I disagree that gene therapy is bioethical because death is much possible in this method and it can lead to diseases. Gene therapy defined as therapeutic method that involves transferring of genetic material to target cells in order to restructure the genome and allow the inserted gene to express or block the expression of a certain gene. From the perspective of bioethics, the use of gene therapy appears too closely related to several negative factors, and it's said that it may cause death and diseases. Gene therapies are novel methods that are still in the early stages of development. This is a very dangerous therapy since many vehicles have RNA-based genetic material, making them more susceptible to genetic recombination and thus becoming more virulent. The fact that the safest non-viral vectors now available are still inefficient or have extremely limited use is the fundamental bioethical barrier to the adoption of RNA-based gene therapy. In the news of ASH clinical news in an Astellas clinical trial, there are 4 boys under the age of 5 died after experiencing liver dysfunction in the weeks following the therapy. The most recent death happened after trial was allowed to resume following deaths of 3 other children treated with AT-132. In addition, according to the study of Lerare et al. In 2004, the vast majority of clinical trials using gene therapy is currently connected to cancers, which is 64.3% with a total of 1,223 trials, and also monogenic hereditary disease, which is 8.8%, heart diseases, infectious diseases, and etc.
First rebuttal speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
Many human diseases have been linked to genetic condition, according to medical science. These diseases are not curable through traditional methods such as taking readily available medications. Gene therapy has the potential to treat or cure genetic-related human illnesses, and the recent expansion and advancement in biotechnology have provided us with the information and insight into biochemical and molecular mechanisms used to edit DNA and thus modify downstream pathways. Several biotechnologies have shown clinical promise to date, but the field of genome editing technology is rapidly evolving and improving. Although the new techniques appear promising, the older ones have also been updated and improved. As we all know, bioethics is the study and evaluation of decisions made in scientific research and medicine that affect people's health and lives. As we all know that the society and environment, as a result, this discipline is the concern with determining the rightness or wrongness of the scientific discoveries and developed technologies, as well as the incorporation of human rights and values to health and life.
Second constructive speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak and your time starts now.
Gene therapy in human beings raises a variety of important ethical, legal, and social issues. This gene therapy offers the potential to cure some diseases or disorders in those who have problems and prevent diseases in those whose genes predisposed, which is very helpful to human beings. That this kind of therapy is very helpful for those who seek people that is needing assistance. The bioethics are making things possible that we never considered before, and legal system is scrambling to keep up with the advances made in biotechnology in recent decades. The clinical responsibility of medical practitioners and of the debates about intervention methods used by them has inevitably increased. The participation of everyone in order to contribute their views on bioethical issues inherent in aiming at analyzing the risk and expected benefit of gene therapy is indispensable. According to the National Institute of Health, that it will be useful to review the history of this new treatment modality and its biomedical, social, and political context. Thus, bioethics and gene therapy are helpful to many human beings who are sick and needing assistance, and new advanced technology of bioethics has a great advantage to heal diseases that everyone thought that there will be no cure.
Second rebuttal for the opposing team. You have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
Most gene therapies are short-lived, meaning patients need to undergo multiple treatments. We said a while ago that it can cure some diseases or disorders in those who have problems and prevent diseases in those whose genes predisposed. But why there are 3 deaths have occurred during gene therapy trials? One of the most notable was the death of 18-year-old Jesse Gelsinger, During a trial conducted at the University of Pennsylvania in 1999, Gelsinger was treated for deficiency in the enzyme ornithine transcarbamylase, a condition where the liver is unable to metabolize ammonia. He died 4 days after the therapy due to severe immune reaction to the viral vector used to transport corrected genes. So meaning gene therapies are new procedures that are still in the experimental stage. This very risky therapy since many vehicles are viruses with genetic material consisting of RNA and therefore they can more readily undergo genetic recombination and become more virulent. From the point of view of bioethics, the main obstacle to the application of RNA-based gene therapy is the fact that the safer non-viral vectors currently available are still inefficient or have very limited application. Therefore, studies that evaluate the effects in experimental models and preclinical trials are needed in order to validate the potential effectiveness of this type of therapeutic intervention. It is necessary to evaluate the actual benefits as well as to detect the potential risk of implementing this therapy so that both safety and human health are preserved and worse health problems than those we have today are avoided.
Second constructive speaker of the opposing team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
We all know that gene therapy is a type of treatment being developed to fight diseases that are caused by genetic defects. Gene therapy involves altering the genes inside your body's cells in an effort to treat or stop disease. However, gene therapy possesses one of the greatest technical challenges in modern medicine. It is very hard to introduce a new genes into cells of the body and keep them working. Gene therapy thus have risks and limitations. The viruses and other agents used to deliver the good genes can affect more than the cells for their intended. If a gene is added to DNA, it could be put in the wrong place, which could potentially cause cancer or other damages. That's why there is no guarantee that gene therapy will really work out because it is not possible to predict if it is accurate to internalize in the body. And lastly, when gene therapy occurs, anything can happen. First, it is entirely possible that the treatment could fail. Some patients might see a limitations on their abilities to conduct the activities of daily living, and also it could even make their health worse.
Second rebuttal speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak and your time starts now.
No, gene therapy is possible to work and cannot cause cancer and other damage, and it is safe. Imagine a world where a person could change his or her genetic structure and redirect the future course of evolution of their child and themselves. Through gene therapy, this is a very real possibility. In the future, it could be just as easy to change your physical or mental health. The effects of gene therapy are long-lasting and could affect your future offspring as well as your own health. First discovered in the middle of the 1970s, researchers were able to isolate certain genes from DNA. During the 1980s, the term gene therapy came about and propelled research further. The positive aspect of gene therapy is apparent. It can wipe out genetic disease before they can begin and eliminate suffering for future generations. Gene therapy is also a good technique for diseases not researched yet. All of us carry defective genes and may not know it. Gene therapy is a medicine for the future since it can control or eliminate hereditary diseases. Researchers have been working for decades to bring gene therapy to the clinic, yet very few patients have received any effective gene therapy treatments. But that doesn't mean gene therapy is an impossible dream. Even though gene therapy has been slow to reach patients, its future is very encouraging. Decades of research have taught us a lot about designing safe and effective vectors, targeting different types of cells, and managing and minimizing immune responses in patients. We've also learned a lot about the disease genes themselves. Today, many clinical trials are underway, where researchers are carefully testing treatments to ensure that any gene therapy brought into the clinic is both safe and effective. So that, I believe there's nothing wrong with gene therapy.
Third constructive speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak and your time starts now.
To our moderators, adjudicators, evaluators, spectators, and to my co-debaters, good day. I am Kim Wellboy Abelia Cortez. Human life is the most valued entity in the world. Anything that may protect it or put it in danger must be taken into consideration. With regards to gene therapy that is currently under research, I stand firm believing that it is bioethical with these substantial points. First, the application of gene therapy meets and surpasses the philosophical, social, and even the legal standards in medicine. There is no universal philosophy, nor social belief, and even legal matters or laws that would prove that gene therapy is not bioethical. Second, the application of gene therapy meets the four prima facie principles in medical ethics, which are autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. All of these are taken into consideration with the application of gene therapy. Lastly, let us ask ourselves, is gene therapy necessary? Yes, it is. Is gene therapy beneficial? Indeed, it is. Is gene therapy practical? Yes, it is. It is necessary. It is beneficial. It is practical. And most of all, it is bioethical. Thank you.
Third rebuttal speaker from the opposing team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
I strongly disagree that gene therapy is bioethical. Gene therapy has some potential risks. A gene can easily be inserted directly into our cells. Rather, it usually has to be delivered using a carrier called vector. You mentioned earlier, Mr. Cortez, that use of gene therapy meets and exceeds philosophical, social, and legal medical standards. Do you think there are no risks to gene therapy to humans' health? Gene therapy possesses one of the greatest technical challenges in modern medicine. It is very hard to introduce new genes into cells of the body and keep them working. The most common gene therapy vectors are viruses because they can recognize certain cells and carry genetic materials into cells' genes. I stand the point that gene therapy is not bioethical by this following reason. Number one, unwanted immune system reaction. So our body immune system may see the newly introduced viruses as intruders and attack them. So this may cause inflammation and in severe cases organ failure. Number two, targeting the wrong cells because viruses can affect more than one type of cells. It possibly that the altered viruses may inject additional cells, not just target cells containing mutant genes. If this happens, healthy cells may be damaged, causing other illnesses or diseases such as cancer.
Third constructive speaker of the opposing team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
Any kind of therapies can able to help us to treat or cure our diseases. But the question is, does gene therapy is a safe one? Why does a lot of people suffer from its effects? That is why we people should always seek information with regards to the background of the therapies that we're going to undergo for us to be able to be safe. Furthermore, gene therapy has some potential risk. A gene can easily be inserted directly into your cells, rather it usually has to be delivered using a carrier called a vector. The most common gene therapy vectors are viruses because they can recognize certain cells and carry genetic materials into the cell's genes. Researchers remove the original disease-causing genes from the viruses, replacing them with the genes needed to stop disease. And if you're going to undergo gene therapy, this will be the risk or effect that you're going to feel, such as a unwanted immune system reaction. Your body's immune system may see the newly introduced viruses as intruders and attack them. This may cause inflammation and, in severe cases, organ failure. The second one is targeting the wrong cells. Because viruses can affect more than one type of cells, it's possible that the altered viruses may infect additional cells, not just the targeted cells containing mutant genes. And if this happens, healthy cells may be damaged too, causing other illness or diseases such as cancer. The third one is the infection caused by the virus. It's possible that when introduced into the body, the viruses may recover their original ability to cause disease. And the last one is the possibility of causing a tumor. If the new genes get inserted in the wrong spot in your DNA, there are chances that the insertion might lead to a tumor formation. That is why I am not in favor in implementing gene therapy, because it gives risk not just to the patient but also to our future generation.
Third rebuttal speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak and your time starts now.
Gene therapy involves altering the genes inside your body cells in an effort to treat or stop disease. Genes contains your DNA, the code that controls much of your body's form and function. From making you grow taller to regulating your body systems, genes that don't work properly can cause disease. Gene therapy replaces a fault genes or adds a new gene in an attempt to cure disease or improve your body to ability to fight the disease. Gene therapy holds promise for treating a wide range of disease such as cancer, cystic fibrosis, heart disease, diabetes, hemophilia, and AIDS. So gene therapy has the potential to cure a disease, especially when no other medications have worked. Existing gene therapies are administered as a single doses. When compared to other treatments that require multiple doses, also it has potential to permanently eliminate a person's symptoms. Many people's lives can be improved by gene therapy. So the benefit of gene therapy is that it allows people who are born with a genetic disease or who develop cancer to live a normal life. This technique has the potential to cure many diseases that have plagued society for many years. And lastly, we can treat disease or illness in meaningful ways using gene therapy. About 1 in 10 people in the United States have condition or disease classified as being rare. That means there are over 33 million Americans who could benefit from gene therapy. This intervention could reduce or eliminate the pain and suffering that occurs when a genetic abnormality is present in a person's body. Almost 4 out of every 5.
Fourth constructive speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak and your time starts now.
The advantages of biotech and gene therapy. It could change the perspective that people about diseases. Roughly, 10% of all Americans are affected by a rare diseases or the condition on any given day. Approximately 33 million people are suffering from disabilities that is directly to attribute their genetic profile. The promise of gene therapy is that can reduce or eliminate the pain and discomfort these abnormalities cause. 80% of diseases that we know the impact of human health in the negative of the genetic foundation. If we can replace the cells or the chromosomes that are all fault, then it can become the possible offer of relief. Gene therapy could offer the potential of new discoveries. Our world is a better place when there is emphasis on diversity, when we have effective of gene therapy treatments that we can save the lives or prolong them. Then, we are adding the strengths to our existence. There will be more opportunities to research, new ideas that could lead or critical discoveries, and the relations that can lead to the future generations that will experience the benefits as well. There will always be a segment of society that looks the gene therapy as a way to play God. The reality of the medical treatments is can help the people to continue their life and the life that they love.
Fourth rebuttal speaker from the opposing team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
Gene therapy does not have risk and limitation. The viruses and other agents used to deliver the good genes can affect more than the cells for which they're intended. If a gene is added to DNA, it could be put in the wrong place, which could potentially cause cancer or other damage. The biology of human gene therapy is very complex, and there are many techniques that still need to be developed in this that need to be understood more fully before gene therapy can be used appropriately. In addition, because gene therapy involves making changes to the body genetic setup and raises many unique ethical concerns, this made it difficult to determine the true effectiveness of the gene therapy on its own, as distinct from the effect of the more traditional therapy. Three arguments sometimes raised against gene therapy are that it is technically too dangerous, that is discrimination or invites discrimination against persons with disabilities, and that it may be becoming increasingly relevant in some cases. The dangerous objection point out that a few recent attempts of gene therapy in clinical trials have made headlines because of the tragic death of some of the people participating in their trials. It is not fully known to what extent this was due to the gene therapy itself, as opposed to pre-existing condition or improper research techniques. But in the light of such events, some critics have called for stop to gene therapy until more is known.
Fourth constructive speaker of the opposing team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
Good day, everyone. According to my research, there are three arguments sometimes raised against gene therapy are that it is technically too dangerous, it discriminates or invites discriminations against persons with disabilities, and it may be becoming increasingly irrelevant in some cases. The danger objection points out that a few recent attempts at gene therapy in clinical trials have made headlines because of the tragic deaths of some of the people participating in the trials. It is not fully known to what extent this was due to the gene therapy itself, as opposed to pre-existing conditions or improper research techniques. But in the light of such events, some critics have called for a stop to gene therapy until more is known. We just do not know enough about how gene therapy works and what could go wrong. Specific worries are that the vectors may deliver the DNA to cells other than the target cells with foreseen result. Second, viruses as vectors may not be as safe as assumed and may cause diseases. Third, adding new genes to a nucleus does not guarantee they will go where desired, with potentially disastrous results if they insert in the wrong place. Fourth, if the changes are not integrated with the DNA already in the nucleus, the changes may not carry over to new cells, and the persons may have to undergo more therapy later. And lastly, changing reproductive cells may cause events not seen until years later, and undesirable effects may have already been passed on to the patients.
Fourth rebuttal speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak and your time starts now.
Gene therapy is not dangerous medication. In fact, many of the clinics have done the gene therapy procedure by making it legal to do. And according to Mayo clinical trials of gene therapy to the people, they have shown some success in treating certain diseases, such as severe combined immune deficiency, hemophilia, blindness caused by retinitis pigmentosa. Gene therapy is a novel medication technique that uses genes from several sources to treat or prevent different diseases. Scientists believe that after 20 years, this will be the last cure of every genetic disease, and most scientists believe that the potential for biotics of gene therapy is the most exciting application of DNA science. Gene therapy continues to be a very important new way of medication and active area of research that's aimed to develop
new effective treatments for a variety of diseases. Medical researchers, institutions, and regulatory agencies are working to ensure that gene therapy research, clinical trials, and approved treatments are as safe as possible. Thank you.
Fifth constructive speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak and your time starts now.
Gene therapy is promising. A major advantage of gene therapy is that continuing expression of the genes allow for a cure following a single treatment as opposed to continuing administration of a drug with a relatively short half-life. As I said, gene therapy is a promising approach to altering the genetic composition of cells as a way to correct disease-causing mutations. Some may not see it now, but gene therapy is the future. It would be the face of modern medicine. One thing that makes gene therapy a very valuable innovation in medicine is that it provides options. Gene therapy can potentially cure someone of a disease, especially in instances where no other medications have worked. Gene therapy also have long-lasting effects, unlike the other therapies, and the positive effects of gene therapy can be passed down from generation to generation. So it really have a huge impact in the future. Yes, that's right. Gene therapy is better than traditional medicines. Cell and gene therapies may offer longer-lasting effects than traditional medicines. So we should really dig deep and invest into gene therapy. That would be all.
Fifth rebuttal speaker from the opposing team. You have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
I strongly stand and believe that gene therapy has a potential danger to us. You said that gene therapy is a promising approach to altering the genetic composition of cells as a way to correct diseases causing mutations. But even if the gene therapy was been around for decades, it was seen that it has limited success. One of the factors why I can say that gene therapy has a potential danger to us, it is because according to the president of the German Society for Gene Therapy, which is Wolfgang Ackert, who was a geneticist, he stated that gene therapy problems was the transfer of vector that was used to bring a new gene into a cell. So, the vectors at the beginning were not really safe. Because of the risk that was associated with this, it integrates in our genome at the wrong place, and there were side effects like leukemia. Another thing is that, aside from its side effects, gene therapy is too expensive for those people who cannot afford. In addition, you said that cell and gene therapies may offer longer lasting effect than traditional medicines. But don't you think that most of the gene therapies are short-lived? In other words, the patients will need to undergo multiple treatments. So the earliest studies showed that gene therapy could have very serious health risks, such as toxicity, inflammation, and cancer. That's why I strongly stand that gene therapy has a potential danger to us.
Fifth constructive speaker of the opposing team, you have 2 minutes to speak. Your time starts now.
Gene therapy is currently developing rapidly in research and clinical applications. It has brought people more and more hopes for disease curing. It is currently the most efficient and promising clinical tool available, being capable of predicting with a high level of accuracy if someone will develop a disease as well as to cure it. However, little is known about its potential risks and damages to the patient because despite the scientific and technological advances, there are still many uncertainties about the side effects of gene therapy. Moreover, there is a need above all to understand the principles of bioethics as both science and ethics, in accordance with its socio-ecological responsibility, is to prioritize the health and welfare of man and nature using proper natural resources and technology. That is because gene therapy is first carried out in animals and sometimes there is no complete correlation between the animal models used and the actual human biochemical and physiological conditions. In addition to that, studies shows that there are lots of ethical problems to discuss in gene therapy, like the use of viruses as carriers to transport and introduce genes into patients. It seems very simple, however, some of them are associated with severe human disease such as viruses causing pharyngitis, conjunctivitis, leukemia, and AIDS. Not only the use of viruses that can add severe human disease, but also, from the perspective of bioethics, the use of gene therapy appears to be closely related to several negative factors, among which can be cited economic difficulties, particularly with regards to wealth distribution, political and cultural conflicts, as well as the scarcity of studies evaluating the impacts of the use of gene therapy on human health. Overall, gene therapies are new procedures that are still in the experimental stage. That is why this is very risky therapy since many vehicles are viruses with a genetic material and therefore they can be readily undergo genetic recombination and become more virulent.
Fifth rebuttal speaker of the supporting team, you have 2 minutes to speak and your time starts now.
You mentioned the potential risk and damages to the patient, and despite the scientific and technological advances, there are still many uncertainties about the side effects of gene therapy. But it was being said that societies are responsible for establishing rules and guidelines for the use of genetic technology, and this is a task in which bioethicists play a major role. Scientists were urged to heighten the regard for individuals' welfare and to obtain informed consent from subjects before they participated in treatments and also the experiments. The well-being of research subjects and patients must be protected before certain experiments or treatments are conducted. That is why potential risk and damages to the patient could be avoided because bioethicists and scientists are careful about their well-being. Gene therapy could give chances to be cured, and those who live with certain abnormalities in their DNA or diseases could live normally. So there's no need to take the so-called risk, but take the biggest opportunity to be cured. It may give people the chance to live their lives differently. Genetic testing may relieve this worry, and it may allow the person to take active measures to stay as healthy as possible, as well as to make changes to lead as fulfilling lives as possible.
At this moment, let us hear the presentation of the concluding statement by Ms. Cruda Cherry for the supporting team and Ms. Sally Norain for the opposing team, to be followed by Ms. Palma Hilbasita for the concluding speech summary for supporting and opposing team.
Gene therapy is thought of by some people as a terrific discovery that would greatly improve the human population and also give people with certain disabilities some glimmer of hope. Gene therapy replaces a faulty gene or adds a new gene in an attempt to cure disease or improve your body's ability to fight diseases. Gene therapy holds promise for treating a wide range of diseases such as cancer, cystic fibrosis, heart disease, diabetes, hemophilia, and AIDS. The supporting team has proven and can conclude that gene therapy can greatly help people in treating specific diseases. Studies prove that it is indeed true. People believe that gene therapy should be utilized to its fullest potential for diseases in humans with the strictest consideration of all guidelines that have been developed. Everyone, regardless of sex, race, wealth, and so on, should have the same opportunity to have the human gene therapy techniques performed.
The development of the biotechnologies, as well as the emergence of the genetic engineering and other innovations, promises great benefits, but it could also have a negative impact on the development of the human species and nature. Based on the research in the bioethical and gene therapy, can possibly cause death and can lead to countless diseases. The gene therapy in human beings raises a variety of important ethical, legal, and social issues. The germline gene therapy is a part of the gene therapy that has been much more controversial because it creates risk not only to patients but also to the future generations and can lead to genetic enhancement. And also, it is similar to other forms of medical treatment that the goal is to prevent diseases in individuals, and they acknowledgely disagree the bioethical and gene therapy because it can cause death, and the few recent attempts at gene therapy in clinical trials have headlines because of the tragic deaths. Gene therapy is much dangerous and have potential risk. It may target or deliver the wrong cells in human body, and that can be possibly the reason of the risk of human being that can possibly be the cause of death.
Good day, everyone. We already heard both team statements and arguments where the affirmative side believes that gene therapy is indeed bioethical because its application of it meets and surpasses the philosophical, social, and legal standards in medicine. They argued that there is no universal philosophy, social belief, and even legal matters or law that would prove that gene therapy is not bioethical. They also asserted that the use of gene therapy shows a high level of promise for reducing disease spread and in the future may provide remedies to several chronic disorders. In addition, gene therapy can potentially cure someone's disease, especially in instances where no other medications have worked. Unlike other therapies, gene therapy has long-lasting effects and it can be passed down from generation to generation, wherein we can conclude that it has a huge impact on the future. The opposing team, on the other hand, stands firmly that gene therapy is dangerous since many vehicles have RNA-based genetic material, making them more susceptible to genetic recombination and thus becoming more virulent. As a matter of fact, a clinical trial at Astellas reported that there are 4 boys under the age of 5 died after experiencing liver dysfunction in the weeks following therapy. Furthermore, studies show that there are lots of ethical problems in gene therapy as the use of viruses as carriers to transport and introduce genes into patients, and some of them are associated with severe human diseases such as viruses causing pharyngitis, conjunctivitis, leukemia, and AIDS. Not only the use of viruses that can add to severe human disease, but also from the perspective of bioethics. In general, gene therapy has a high potential to heal a variety of ailments everyone thought that there will be no cure. However, it is a new procedures that are still in the experimental stage. That is why it is a dangerous method.
Wow! That was so intense. Each of the team does really give their best and outstanding performance today. I honestly learned from our speakers. However, we need a formal evaluation from our board of judges. May I call on Ms. Gutang for the evaluation summary of the supporting team and Mr. Damla for the opposing team, to be followed by Mr. Pantoja for the presentation of the overall evaluation.
Hello everyone and good day. I am Leia Angela Gutang and I will present to you the evaluation summary for the supporting team. The first thing observed was the lapses of the speakers in the debate. The speakers seemed to read only their lines. Some speakers are like fast forwarding their speeches. Also, the speakers were less convincing and throw little gestures that the spectators could have lost interest in them. Secondly observed were the best shots of their speeches. They also make use of citations to prove that it gives proper credit to the authors. Most speakers' delivery is audible. And lastly, our recommendation as your evaluators, you should add strong conviction to your speeches. Body gestures are a big yes. So don't hesitate to move a little and put effort to support your arguments effectively, lively, and powerfully. That would be all. Thank you.
Good day everyone, it's my honor to present to you our overall evaluation for the opposing team. As we scrutinized the arguments, the weight of the validity of their given arguments was quite good. They had presented factual evidences. The structure of words and delivery are also impressive. However, rooms for improvement needs to be taken into consideration. As a debater, you must sound certain as you speak, stay calm, and should act with confidence. Moreover, it was a great job for the opposing team. Thank you.
Finally, the event has been successfully done. All I can say is, great job to all the participating speakers for the strong and informative speeches, and for the creative minds of architectural designers for the eye-catching design for the stage, and also to our panel of judges for spending your time scrutinizing each speeches of the speakers, and especially to our beautiful Professor Leo Divida Lagrada for such a great job on making this exciting and productive activity. Overall, I observed that the class of PMGO2 is full of young and talented and creative minds. And to end, I can say that this event deserves a warm round of applause. God bless us all.
At this point, let us know who among the teams dominates the heart of our judges. Is it the supporting team or the opposing team? What do you think? Without further ado, help me welcome Miss Angela Navarro for the presentation of the judging results.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I was quite impressed by both teams' hard work in this debate. I really appreciate the level of preparation and dedication displayed by both affirmative and opposing team. The evidence that are presented were noteworthy and well given. The debater speaks in a clear, comprehensive way with no poor body language but few special elements to persuade an audience. Although there are some flaws, its style overall enhances the content. However, they're all competent and interesting to listen to. At this point, let us now read the overall rating of both teams for the affirmative and opposing teams. For the affirmative team, judge number 1 gave 84%, judge number 2 gave 88%, judge number 3 gave 85%, judge number 4 gave 85%, judge number 5 gave 86%, and judge number 6 gave 88%, with a total average score of 85.83%. On the opposing team, judge number 1 gave 85%, judge number 2 gave 86%, judge number 3 gave 86%, judge number 4 gave 86%, judge number 5 gave 87%, and judge number 6 gave 87%, with a total average score of 86.17%.
Thank you, Miss Navarro. Now, to formally end the program, let's hear Miss Amboy for the closing remarks.
To formally end the program, I would like to congratulate everyone for a job well done. Thank you to all the speakers, debaters for their commendable efforts and for yielding strong and factual information, arguments, and provoking thoughts. To all the facilitators and organizers for keeping things under control and reasonably on time. And most importantly, to everyone who became part of the program and performed in this remarkable event. This could not be probably succeed without everyone's participation and efforts. I would like also to acknowledge the presence of our STS teacher, Mrs. Leo Divida Lagrada. Thank you, ma'am, for leading us this way. This is a great and overwhelming experience, so let us give ourselves a big applause for an excellent performance. We have just heard from both affirmative and opposing speakers the substantial arguments concerning the bioethical issues of gene therapy. It is important to note that if the benefits of gene therapy outweighs clinical risk, then it is generally therefore viable that gene therapy is morally permissible. But if the risk manifested as per clinical trials have due benefits and instead show future genetic complications and ethical dilemmas, then gene therapy as both treatment and preventive-based method has a still long way to go. Once again, congratulations everyone and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Umboy. At this time, may I request everyone to please rise as we thank our Almighty Father for making this event successful. May I call on Miss Pabulaya to lead the closing prayer.
Okay, let us pray. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, We started this program with you, and we are also going to end it with you. As we come up to the end of your time together, we thank you for what has been accomplished today. We could not have come up with smart decision without your guidance. Thank you for being in our midst and giving direction for what we should accomplish. Bless the hardworking student and teachers who shared their time to make this debate happen. We ask for your presence to go with us and protect us in all the students and teachers here today. We hearken to your promises always, and we know that your goodness shall forever follow us. Please show us how to utilize the knowledge that we have done today for your honor and glory. In your mighty name, we believe and pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you for witnessing this momentous event. To our director, evaluators, judges, and organizers, thank you so much. And of course, congratulations to everyone for a job well done. So those who stayed with us until the end, thank you as well. And see you at another significant event. This is your Master of Ceremony, Shira Grace Argalion, and this is STS 2022 Debate.